Don't forget to subscribe to the page. Trying to adjust this. So like the video as you guys come in. I appreciate everyone for being here. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. I hope everyone's having a great morning. I am. Let's go ahead and get through the disclaimer as people are coming in. We're going to talk hot topics, trending topics. We're going to talk about what Trump is talking about. We're just going to get through some general topics this morning and kind of go from there. Hold on one second. Okay. So good morning, good morning. Like the video as you guys come in. It normally takes people about 2 or 3 minutes to come on in, float on into the show. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. Okay, that's better. So let's get through the disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships and research. Fair use is use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. I was just waking up, looking at what's being talked about, what's forthcoming, and Donald Trump announces his plan to end Biden's gender care policy. So this is definitely going to affect a lot of people. As we know, Biden and Harris and Obama allowed a lot of things that Trump is saying he's not going to allow. So we're definitely going to get to that topic. We're going to talk about what the news is saying about Trump, what's going on in regards to that. So come on in, come on in. It's definitely going to take people a few minutes to come in, but come on in, come on in. Press 1 if you can hear me okay. Press 1 if you can hear me okay. And then press 3 if you've been here before, where you're watching from. Press 3 if you've been here before, where you're watching from. And then press 5 if you've been here before. We're definitely going to get to some hot topics, trending topics, and what's forthcoming. I've already mentioned in the next 200 days, it's definitely going to be interesting. I think it's going to take about, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, it's going to take about 30 days before he gets into office. But I think it's going to be an interesting 200 days. I do. And many people are going to be talking about it. And today we're definitely going to be talking about what his expectations are, what his plans are, and we're going to go from there. So come on in, come on in. Lately it's been taking people a little bit longer to come in, but they will. People will come in. People will come in. So we're going to play this video, and then I'll probably have to play it again as people come in later. But like the video, like the video. Press 3 if you're new, where you're watching from. Press 3 if you're new, where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before and where you're watching from. We're going to get to some hot topics, trending topics. And let's go ahead and let's see. We're about 3 minutes in. Let's do this one first. So like the video, like the video.
Press now, I'm Kristen Welker in Washington. As President-elect Donald Trump's transition to power now begins, and Democrats grapple with the uncertain fate and future of their party. I spoke with President-elect Trump earlier this afternoon by phone.
Fair use reaction video.
As he and his team begin the transition process, the president-elect outlining his priorities for day one of his administration. Among them, taking action at the southern border, including implementing what he has called his mass deportation plan, regardless of the price tag. The president-elect also describing to me his calls with some 70 world leaders since his victory, including Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel and President Zelensky of Ukraine, two conflicts that loom large over the campaign. Adding that he had not yet spoken with Russian President Putin, but believes he will. Mr. Trump also shared details of his conversations with President Biden and Vice President Harris since the election, calling them, quote, very nice calls, both respectful, both ways. Our conversation came after President Biden spoke from the White House today for the first time since the election, echoing remarks made by Vice President Harris yesterday, pledging a peaceful and orderly transition in contrast to the turmoil and the insurrection from 4 years ago.
Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory. And I assured him that I'd direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. Campaigns are contests of competing visions. The country chooses one or the other. We accept the choice.
Good morning, everyone. Like the video as you guys come in. Fair use reaction video.
The country made. I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win.
Now, the president-elect clearly buoyed by his victory, telling me in our conversation today that he believes he has a, quote, mandate to bring common sense back to the country after his decisive win, which saw him flip at least 4 battleground states, shattering the Democrats' blue wall and presiding over a national rightward shift that has taken the Democratic Party. Democrats, meanwhile, left to figure out what went wrong and what comes next, as Vice President Harris urged supporters to continue the fight during her concession speech yesterday.
In our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States. And loyalty to our conscience and to our God. My allegiance to all three is why I am here to say, while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
If you're thinking of selling your home soon, you don't
Like the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. We're going to do a general news update of what's coming, what's forced to come, and what the news and media is talking about regarding Trump. Like the video.
Have any power in Washington to continue that fight all comes down to which party controls the House, which remains uncalled at this hour. But Republicans appear to have the easier path to winning a majority than Democrats. Republicans will control the Senate with at least a 2-seat majority, potentially more, once races are called in Arizona, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. It all means that President-elect Donald Trump will be taking the reins with potentially few checks against his power as he embarks on fulfilling promises made during his campaign. A long list that, if implemented, would fundamentally change this country and its institutions on the economy, foreign policy, and immigration. Joining me now from the White House is NBC's Mike Memley, and Vaughn Hilliard is in West Palm Beach with the very latest from the Trump transition. Mike, let me start with you. It was notable in my conversation with President-elect Trump, he talked about the fact that Vice President Harris and President Biden both emphasized to him that they want a smooth and orderly transition. He said he totally agrees 100%. You heard that in their speeches, really emphasizing the importance of a peaceful transfer of power. It comes, of course, against the backdrop of what this country experienced 4 years ago, which was...
Good morning, everyone. Press 3 if you're new. Where you're watching from. Press 3 if you're new. Where you're watching from. Like the video. We're talking news, hot topics. Thanks for being here, everyone. We're talking news and hot topics. Thanks for being here, everyone. I appreciate everyone for being here. This is a reaction video. We talk trending topics, hot topics. Thanks for being here, everyone.
not a peaceful transfer of power. Mike, what's the thinking inside the administration right now?
Well, Kristen, I think we can predict that this 74 days before Donald Trump is sworn in as the next president of the United States will at times have some bumpy moments in this transition. It's almost inevitable that there will be conflicts and some tensions as these teams try to work with one another to prepare for this handoff of power. But it is striking to see how in the first 48 hours, both sides, and all three sides, in fact, have been trying to put their best foot forwards and act in a civil fashion, right? We've seen, as you illustrate from your conversation with the president-elect, as we even see in some of the statements from members of his team, usually very sharply worded, have all been very gracious and very positive at this stage. We saw the vice president yesterday, and then we saw President Biden today doing everything he could to both try to reassure his supporters, his staff.
Good morning, everyone. Press 3 if you're new. Where you're watching from. Press 3 if you're new. Where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before. Where you're watching from. Thanks for tuning in. Fair use. This is a reaction clip, and then we're going to get to what his plans are. And I'm sure every week there may be allegedly more news to come, but this show gives you a breakdown of what the news is stating. Fair use. Reaction video. Thanks for being here, everyone.
Some of those who voted for Vice President Harris about the fact that there will be another day here, but also to try to put what we expected, I think, frankly, from President Biden. He's a person of norms and traditions who is going to extend every bit of graciousness to Donald Trump that he feels he was not extended 4 years ago. It's a sort of implicit contrast that has been a hallmark of President Biden. But I want you to listen to part of what the president said, in which I think he can send a message while still striking a positive tone. Take a listen.
I also hope we can later rest the question about the integrity of the American electoral system. It is honest, it is fair, and it is transparent. And it can be trusted, win or lose. I also hope we can restore the respect for all our election workers who busted their necks and took.
Good morning, everyone. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before, where you're watching from. Good morning, everyone. Continue to hit the like button. Fair use. Continue to hit the like button. Hitting the like button is free, free, free. Don't forget to subscribe to the page. Thanks for being here.
Risk at the outset. We should thank them.
So, Kristen, you were with me at the White House 8 years ago. We remember just the shock of Obama staff at the time. Of course, President Biden was then the vice president. He experienced that as well. It's a different level, I think, of surprise and shock at this point, not necessarily because they had expected Vice President Harris to win. I think they certainly had hoped so, but because I think they fear what he might represent now, where he was much more of an unknown 8 years ago. So this is really the undercurrent with which President Biden has to proceed now to try to set the stage for this handoff of power.
Absolutely. And within that handoff of power, President-elect Trump telling me that the two had agreed to meet to have lunch in the near future. Mike, I've been talking to sources within the Democratic Party. The finger pointing has already begun. I was talking to one Democratic lawmaker who said this is a real moment of reckoning, that the Democratic Party, and as another source said, has got to do some soul searching to figure out how this decisive victory by Donald Trump was possible. What did they miss? What are you hearing in terms of that finger pointing that's already starting to take hold within the Democratic Party?
Yeah, it really started on Tuesday night as I was sharing with some of my sources what we were seeing in the exit polls, which pointed to a much closer result than many had hoped for. And very quickly, the first question was raised whether President Biden should have stayed in this race. I think the much more prevailing sentiment was, should he have stepped aside much earlier? Should he have even announced he was running at all? It was really interesting to hear, Karine.
That's a good question, because they only gave Kamala, 107 days, 6 days, or 100 days to try and, build confidence in the people. And some people feel that she went the route of having entertainers, performers speak to America. Was that the right thing to do? You guys let me know in the comments.
Jean-Pierre at a press briefing today, and if you look at some of the polling that showed President Biden with such a negative approval rating in this country, that the views of the economy were so negative, the White House press secretary tried to, sort of broadly speaking, say that this is not a problem unique to President Biden. She pointed to elections in democracies all over the world since the pandemic that show incumbent parties, incumbent administrations suffered pretty much across the board. And so I think one of the arguments that's most interesting from the Biden perspective is that because Vice President Harris took pains to try to distance herself from the president, no one was making a positive argument about what this administration did, essentially conceding the economic issue to Trump, and that was clearly decisive on Election Day.
A really fascinating point, Mike.
Like the video. There's about 61 in the building. If I can get 50 likes, if I can please get 25 people to hit the like button, and if I can get 50 people, please subscribe to the page. Fair use, reaction video.
Thank you for that, Vaughn. Let me turn to you. I know you're working your sources trying to get the very latest on the Trump transition, which is now officially underway. I tried to get some details from President-elect Trump, didn't get very far. I asked him, for example, if Susie Wiles, someone who has managed his campaign, is one of the top choices for chief of staff. He certainly had high praise for her, talked about the fact that he thought she would be a very good pick. What are you hearing? Have any decisions been made yet?
If wrinkles and sagging skin are
like the video, like the video. Like the video. And many people have feelings and thoughts of what's going on. Every few days I'll probably cover hot topics, trending topics, so that way you can come here, get some quick information. That's going to be about a 30 to 45 minute video. Like the video, fair use.
Have any decisions been made yet?
Right, this is the moment where there are a lot of names swirling about. Those names that are going to be very legitimate contenders to be added to the administration, but then also those that are sort of at the last minute trying to throw their names back into the equation. And that's what we're actively, I know as a team, Kristen, trying to do is sort through those realities. There has been already a transition team that has been in the works now for the last several weeks, even before Donald Trump's election this week. And it's led by Howard Lutnick and Linda McMahon. And those are the two individuals, I'm told Howard Lutnick is really focused on the personnel side, Linda McMahon really focused on the policy side of this, that are getting ready for just 2 months from now when Donald Trump takes the reins of a White House that is expansive, not only needing to fill the cabinet posts, but also the 3,000 political appointees that ultimately staff out those departments and those agencies. And I want to let folks just take a look at some of the names who we at NBC News are told are, in fact, under consideration here in Palm Beach to go into those key cabinet posts. When you look at Secretary of State.
Don't forget, press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before, where you're watching from. I'd like to know how many people are coming in that's new. Or if you don't want to let us know where you're watching from, just give us a thumbs up and a 3. a 3 and a thumbs up, or you could press 3 and let us know where you're watching from. Let's continue with the video. Fair use reaction clip.
You have the likes of Florida Senator Marco Rubio, who we are told is under the consideration, but also the likes of Rick Grinnell, who was a former acting director of national intelligence. Over at the Pentagon, Senator Tom Cotton was under consideration, but publicly is now taking himself out of the running for contention. You also have, though, the likes of Congressman Mike Waltz of Florida, who was a Green Beret and somebody who was a frequent presence on the campaign trail alongside of Donald Trump as well as on the TV airwaves. The big one, of course, is also going to be the next Attorney General. Donald Trump has big ideas for what his AG he wants him to execute on come 2025, and we are now told here this afternoon that there are at least 3 names who are under serious consideration. That being number 1, Mark Paoletta, who was the former general counsel to the OMB in the first Trump administration, and then 2 other names who are maybe more publicly recognizable. That includes the likes of Matt Whitaker, who served as acting attorney general during his first term after Jeff Sessions left the AG post, and then also I'm told Eric Schmidt by 2 sources, the senator from Missouri, is under consideration. He has also been traveling.
Be kind in the comments or you will be timed out. Be kind in the comments or you will be timed out. We do respect over here. People can have their way of thinking, but be kind in the comments. We will time you out over here. Real talk. Thanks for being here, everyone. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Or press 5 if you've been here before where you're watching from. Thanks for tuning in. Bring you the news, updates, general information, fair use, reaction video.
Recent weeks with Donald Trump, the now president-elect. Over at DHS, we're told that Chad Wolf, who was the former acting DHS secretary at the end of his first term, is under consideration. So, as you said, there's a lot going on. Susie Wiles, that was an important question to him because she was that one of the 2 campaign managers, and we didn't see actually that many palace intrigue stories over the last few years of his campaign. And the large part was because of the way that Susie Wiles ran the campaign. From sources that we talked to, a great many would be eager to see her fill that post in order to ensure that there's a clean transition into the actual White House, Kristen.
All right, Vaughn Hilliard, great reporting. As always, keep us updated if you get any new developments while you're there. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about...
Okay, so now we're going to talk about what is being reported, and I'm getting this from Hollywood Unlocked. Trump has made a decision in regards to his plan in regards to the gender.
Left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple.
Alleged.
Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day 1, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age.
Like the video.
I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The left-wing gender insanity, Big Pharma, and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. Under my leadership, this madness will end. Thank you very much.
So let me know how you guys feel about his gender plan. Let me know how you feel about his gender plan. We're going to play it again. People are just now coming in. Let me know how you feel about it. Be kind in the comments. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before where you're watching from. We'll play the clip again. More people are coming in.
Child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day 1, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures, and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The left-wing gender insanity being put.
Next clip.
Investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. Under my leadership, this madness will end. Thank you very much. Department of Justice.
So y'all let me know how y'all feel about that in the comments. Let me know how you feel about that in the comments. He's president. He's making a choice. Everyone felt that, you know, what was allowed, what was allowed. Now Trump is saying no more. You guys let me know how you feel about it. Over here, we try not to shade, drag, or discredit anyone's feelings. Over here, we try to be kind and considerate. He's making a plan to end. He's making a affirmative care plan. Let me know how you guys feel. There's more going on in the news. There's more going on in the news. This is going to affect some people. Many people feel that this is going to protect. So there's different feelings out there. You're open to, you know, make your comments in the comments. But, you know, over here, we're careful about what we say because people do have feelings. But there's a decision that's being made. So let's go ahead with the next clip. Like the video, like the video. I appreciate everyone for being here this morning. This is very early for me. This is very early for me. Be kind in the comments, you guys. Be kind. And this is why a lot of people don't want to do politics, because some people just go too far. Be kind in the comments. He's making a decision. This affects some people's feelings. It does. Let's get to the next clip. Fair use. Reaction video clip. There's things that's going on where, as we know, that there was attempts on his life, and many people were like, well, why? Now we're about to find out why. Like the video, like the video. Like the video. I appreciate everyone for being here.
In connection with alleged Iranian plans to murder Donald Trump and other American citizens. One of the men hasn't been arrested and is believed to be in Iran. Prosecutors say the plan dates back to September, before the presidential election. Our North America editor, Sarah Smith, is in Florida tonight. Sarah.
Yeah, the three men have been charged with trying to assassinate Donald Trump during the presidential campaign, and doing so under the instruction of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. The criminal complaint alleges that an Iranian asset was told to hire people in the United States to conduct surveillance on Donald Trump and ultimately to try to assassinate him. They were told that...
So everyone was wondering why all of a sudden these things are happening. It's not okay to try and hurt or injure anyone. Many people are saying, why all of a sudden this is happening? And then you have to remember, Trump kept stating he needs more security. He needs more security. And people also were wondering, how is it that people could get on top of a roof and nobody did anything for a good 8 to 10 minutes? People were like, how is that possible that he could climb up there and nobody do anything? You know, people were like, this is not making any sense. So like the video, like the video. Let's continue. Fair use reaction video clip.
Money was no object whatsoever, but if they couldn't get the plan together within 7 days, then they were to wait until Donald Trump loses the election, they were told, when the Iranians believed it would be easier to kill him.
Wow.
Enjoying his victory.
2 assassination attempts on my life.
Crazy.
That we know of.
Crazy.
That they may or may not involve, but possibly do, Iran.
President Biden said it would constitute an act of war if Iran tried to kill Donald Trump, after U.S. intelligence services warned of a specific Iranian plot.
We've been threatened very directly by Iran, And I think you have to let them know, because the best way to do it is through the office of the president, that you do any attacks on former presidents or candidates for president, your country gets blown to smithereens.
Like the video, like the video. Wow, 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 wow. I didn't expect for him to say that. Like the video, like the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. I appreciate you.
As we say.
Fair use.
Donald Trump narrowly survived being killed at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, when a bullet grazed his ear. The gunman was killed at the scene, and his motives remain unknown.
Keep walking!
Another would-be assassin was arrested when he was discovered with a semi-automatic rifle hiding in the bushes when Donald Trump was playing golf. He was angry about the war in Ukraine. Top Iranian General Qasem Soleimani was killed in a US drone strike in Iraq at the end of Donald Trump's first term as president. He considers that a very proud achievement.
Soleimani has been perpetrating acts of terror to destabilize the Middle East for the last 20 years. What the United States did yesterday should have been done long ago.
The Iranian regime insists Donald Trump should face trial for what the United Nations declared to be an unlawful killing.
Like the video, like the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. Yes, I will play the video again in regards to his plans, in regards to genders. I will play that video again. Thanks for being here, everyone. Like the video, like the video.
Of General Soleimani, and has said that if he's not tried in court...
We're at about 16 likes. Let's get the likes to about 150. Please double tap the screen, hit the thumbs up above the video or below the video. We're at 16 likes. We should be at least 150. Please double tap the screen, hit the thumbs up above the video, below the video. Let's continue with the clip. Be kind in the comments or you will be timed out. You can go on over to your own channel and give your thoughts and feelings, but this is my channel. Be kind in the comments. Be kind in the comments. Thanks for being here, everyone. If you're kind and considerate, I appreciate you. Be kind in the comments.
Then Iran will take its revenge. President-elect Trump will surely now be considering his response to Iran. Sarah Smith, BBC News, West Palm Beach.
Well, we'll have more from Sarah in a moment, but first, though, let's talk about the implications of all of this with our diplomat.
Be kind in the comments. You can go on over to your own page and do your own thing, but be kind in the comments. You will be timed out. Other pages don't accept disrespect, and neither do I. Be kind in the comments.
Correspondent James Landale, and how will this affect policy potentially once Donald Trump is actually in office?
Well, Jane, as Sarah made clear in her report, Donald Trump and Iran have history. Not only did he order the assassination of that Iranian Revolutionary Guard general, Qasem Soleimani, he also imposed a policy of what he called maximum pressure on Iran, effectively stiff economic sanctions designed to make it much harder for Iran to fund its proxy militias, Hamas and Hezbollah. He also pulled Iran and the United States out of an international deal that was designed to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions in the return for lifting those economic sanctions. But that was 4 years ago. The world is very different now. Iran is locked in a direct war with Israel. And Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, wants to step up his attacks on Iran, potentially even targeting its nuclear and energy facilities. Now, thus far, Joe Biden has resisted this, fearing escalation. The question now is, will Donald Trump say, actually, no, we want to give Israel a freer hand? Some of his aides say that is possible because he will take this kind of plot personally. Others, they disagree. And they say, look, remember, Donald Trump said, and I quote in his victory speech, I'm not going to start wars, I'm going to stop wars. So it may be that he wants not to escalate a conflict that potentially could drag the United States in. So Iran could be the first big test of the Trump presidency, a test between his heart saying revenge, his head saying caution. I think what is clear, though, is that...
Like the video, like the video. Thanks for being here, everyone. Continue to double tap the screen, hit the thumbs up above the video, or below the video. Press 3 if you're new, where you're watching from. Press 3 if you're new, where you're watching from. Press 5 if you've been here before, where you're watching from. Or you can give the thumbs up a heart or a thumbs up or flowers. I like flowers. Like the video, like the video.
The moment he takes power, that we will see maximum pressure up to a big package of sanctions against Iran, designed to stop basically it selling oil to China. Are you tired?
So there's more people coming in. Donald Trump has made a statement and a plan in regards to, hold on one second. Let's pull. Donald Trump announces his plan to end Biden's gender affirming care policy. So we're about to listen to that as more people have come in.
Children is an act of child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of the left-wing gender insanity
Next clip.
of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. Under my leadership, this madness will end. Thank you very much. The Department of Justice will investigate big being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote.
So you guys let me know how you feel. You guys let me know how you feel. I just wanted to do a quick video. More and more people, I don't know if you guys understand. More and more people come into my channel. They watch my channel. I talk hot topics, trending topics. Sometimes there's about 100 in the room, and then there'll be about 300 in the room. So sometimes you may catch something that was said 10 or 15 minutes ago, and the other people did not catch it. I think this is major. Many people are going to be talking about it. I'm happy that everyone was here. I'm happy that everyone appreciates me waking up first thing in the morning to bring you the news and information. So, press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Press 3 if you knew where you're watching from. Be kind in the comments. Be respectful in the comments. That's what I would do if I was on your channel. But definitely like the video. I appreciate everyone for being here. Let me know in the comments how you feel about what's being said. What's going to happen in the next 200 days. Are a lot of people going to be with him, upset about the decisions that he's made? The country has spoken. The country has spoken. So, be kind in the comments. I'm sure if you have your own page, you know, you could do whatever you want. But over here, we're respectful. That's what it is. I bring the news, hot topics, trending topics. So I thank everyone for being here. I think mostly everyone was respectful. And if you weren't, do that on somebody else's page. But thanks for being here, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great morning. So let's do the disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged in our opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Yes, be kind in the comments. Continue to hit the thumbs up button. Continue to hit the thumbs up button. But thanks for being here, everyone. I appreciate you all. Have a great weekend.